Good morning from not so beautiful, but kind of beautiful, kind of sunny Jupiter, Florida. So yesterday talked about struggles in life, and so I think today it's only fitting that I talk about my struggles. Um, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to them, and it's going to be real. So I've struggled a lot with purpose, like I talked about before, but along with that also comes a feeling of lack of purpose and lack of identity. And over and over, when you keep feeling that way, you start to lose any type of identity, and you start to question things. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? What's the point to it all? I really struggled with that for a long time. In my life, I've attempted to end it twice, and both times, when you're in that moment, you don't really see a different way out. You only see that one avenue, the one option, when honestly there's a lot more to your life and to who you are. But when you get into that moment, that thinking, the thing I've learned is, doesn't matter how strong you are, how tough you are, you on your own can't get out of that moment. There's, the first time, thankfully I passed out, and the second time I had the strength of others who came and stopped me, and then stood beside me. It's difficult because that's weakness, that's giving up. But it's okay to be weak, but it's not okay to give up. And I've been learning this. It's okay to reach out and talk to people about your struggles, about life in general. It's okay to get help from other people, like-minded people that understand and that have been through, and have dealt with what you're dealing with, and have come out of the darkness because somebody stood next to them in that darkness and showed them the way out. When you're, sorry, it's humid as hell this morning. When you're in that dark time, you only see the easy way out. You only see the way that's going to be less of a struggle, less of a fight. I live each day in constant pain, physical pain from, my injuries, and emotional pain for the things that I've refused to deal with. And even though I chose not to deal with them, I still deal with them. They still come up. They still are there, whether I want to acknowledge them or not. And they seem to come up at the worst moments, because I'm in the middle of something that should be fun, should be, enjoyable. But when something brings me back to an event or an emotion I immediately shut everything down because I don't want to go there. And then that just takes away from the joy of that moment, and it takes away from living life. You know, life is a journey, but it's also one that should be enjoyed. You know, life is tough and is a struggle, but we shouldn't allow it to be. You know, I'm learning to be a glass half full kind of guy. And when I think back, I try not to focus on the negative. And in doing this, I've realized that for every negative thing that happens to you, there's about 10 positive things that have happened to you. But for some reason, we just focus on the negative. You know, when there's good things that happen all the time. There's positive things that happen all the time. You know? I mean, we'll take this morning, for instance. It could be rainy, it could be overcast, it could be cloudy. It could be all kinds of things, and I wouldn't be able to come out and enjoy the beach, but it's not. You know, I could look up at the clouds and say, oh man, they're taking some of my sun. Oh, it's a horrible morning. When in all actuality, it's really not. You know, it's a beautiful morning. The water's cool, which is good because I am sweating my butt off. But the sun is out. You know, might go behind some of those big clouds every once in a while. But for that one negative thing, I can find 10 other positive things. And that's what we tend to miss. We get stuck on the negative things that happen to us, or, you know, the things that didn't go right for us. You know, when I worked at my last job, you know, I was the top performer, but I kept getting passed over for promotion, you know, or they would bring somebody else in. And I never really stopped to think about the positives of that. You know, I always thought the negative. I'm working so hard, I deserve this. You know, they're screwing me. But in all actuality, they weren't. They were trying to grow me because I'm new to the industry. Yeah, I do good work. And yeah, I was working like crazy getting things done. But in a corporate environment, I'm new to that. You know, and to bring me at a level where I would have failed. So instead of looking at the positives and looking into what's going on, I got stuck on the negative. And it made me bitter and angry. You know, life's all about perspective. You know, like walking on the beach. You know, I'm walking, and now I'm walking in water. Okay, now it's dry. It's solid foundation footing. And then, now I'm walking in water again. And it's harder to walk in water because the sand becomes mushy. But no matter what happens, I'm gonna be walking on a solid foundation again. As long as I continue to move forward and don't get stuck. I got stuck for many years. You know, my life has suffered because of it. It's not something that I'm proud to admit, but I mean, my children, you know, have suffered from the choices that I've made. You know, I love my boys. I have 3 wonderful, amazing boys, and they're my world. They're my legacy that I'm gonna leave behind. They're the ones that are going to help to make change in this world. You know, and honestly, they're the only reason why I'm still here, because, you know, living each day in pain, day in and day out, it breaks you down. And sometimes it gets to the point where I just don't want to do it anymore. You know, I don't want to be in pain anymore. I don't want to deal with the constant you know, looking at things I can't do. You know, I'd love to go out here and surf one day, but I can't do that. I can't do that anymore. And it just makes me feel less of a person, that there's things out there that physically I can't do anymore. And it's frustrating, and it's something that I have to deal with. But because of them, when I get in those moments, I think about them. You know, I think about, instead of me going out and surfing, I start teaching them how to surf. You know, I turn a negative thing into a positive thing. And that keeps me going. That keeps me pushing through the pain, pushing through the emotions, trying to better myself and better my situation that I'm in. And it's no different for a lot of you out there, you know. The only thing that I can say honestly is, when I was at my weakest and in my darkest place, I had people that came around beside me. When I was stuck in that hole, I had people that jumped down in that hole with me. If you're struggling, reach out. Reach out to somebody. Maybe it's somebody you served with and you haven't talked to in a long time. Reach out. Because at one point or another, we all need somebody. We all need help. As hard as it is to admit that, we need help. And even if you don't want to go into the descriptions of what you're hurting, honestly, you don't have to say anything, because as brothers and sisters, we understand as soon as we look into your face. My brothers knew as soon as they looked into my face, they saw the pain and agony I was in. They took that gun away from me, and then they stood beside me. That is what we need. We need people in our life to support us, to be there for us, you know. But we can't do it without you reaching out and saying, hey, I need help. Or not even that, just say, hey, haven't talked to you in a while, how's things going? And just start talking about life. What's going on with you? What's going on with them? How are they doing? You know, open up. Don't close up. Because when you're in that darkness, you gotta have somebody standing next to you. Otherwise, you're gonna give in to that one easy way out. I know, because I almost did twice. But I won't again. And that's because I have people and I reach out. And because I do things like this to talk through and to help other people and to be there. I've been in that darkness. I understand it. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that, you know, I can save anybody, but I can just be there. You know, at times we don't even have to say anything. Just being present is what's important. Being there for each other's struggles. So, all right. Well, that's it for today. I think emotionally I'm about to break. So, but just if you need anything, reach out to me, reach out to your friends. I'm always available. You know, it doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. More than likely, I probably woke up in the middle of the night having issues and I'm wide awake. So reach out. And I'll give you one final look of the beautiful beach. All right, stay tuned until tomorrow. Bye.